that I could be done with hiding.
From my own experience, I understand that abuse thrives in secrecy. And because we are ashamed of what's happening to us, and it's kind of hidden, and it's a secret. And now for me, it wasn't the same, obviously, as you. I understand that yours was interfamilial sexual abuse, and you said that the perpetrator was your father.
Yes.
And I know that there are many people who have that experience. And I actually, there was a girl that I knew, one of my children's friends, and she came to a party that we had. And when her father came to pick her up, I was really uncomfortable about how she behaved with him and how he behaved. And so I started asking questions and everything. And I was assured that nothing was happening. But I just always had that feeling like something wasn't right there.
Mm-hmm.
She was a very beautiful young girl. And it's just, you hear the stories about Marilyn Monroe, and you hear the stories about Rita Hayworth, and what they endured. And it is so heartbreaking to know that as a young girl, you have to be afraid sometimes of people that are in your family, or adult males or even females, that you should be able to trust, because a lot of times the abuser is someone, someone in your family, a family friend, and it's very, very difficult to live with that. So when I hear you say that you accepted this challenge to tell your story, and you were able to go to people and say, hey, I was assaulted by my father, and they held space for you, it's just amazing, an amazing part of what must have been the beginning of a healing journey, or part of a healing journey for you.
Yes, there were certain things that had happened before. I mean, I spent many years journaling, and that has been like a big, big, big part of my healing journey. I recommend journaling so much. But yeah, that was, I mean, that was like the icing on the cake. That was like what broke the fear, like really broke the fear. And it's like, I don't care what people know about it now, you know, I don't. I put it in a book, and, you know, um, and I will say, Kia, when I was 5 years old, I didn't really know to be afraid. It was like something is it just was a little strange to me, but I thought that was just because I didn't understand things as well as my dad did. You know what I mean? He was wise in my eyes. He knew things. And so I trusted him, and that's how I happened to end up in this for until I was 18, because it became my normal. After a while, it became my normal. It just, and I didn't know how to break out of it. There were points where I wanted to break out of it, and I knew I wanted to break out of it by that time, but I didn't know how. Like in the book, I tell the story about when I was 16, going to a priest and confessing, and going home to my dad and saying, "Look, Dad, I did this, and I want to be done." And he didn't, he never said I couldn't. He didn't get violent with me in these instances. He was just he made me feel as if I was being foolish, as if he always told me, Kaya, he always told me it was beautiful. He always told me it was beautiful. Like, and and the words I remember from when I was about 17 were, "I love you as a woman and as my daughter. So what?" But then another coach told me, he was like, if he had loved you, he would have respected your, your pace, your boundaries. He would have respected. He would have taught you. This is not what he said, but here's what I'm realizing. He would have taught you to respect your own body and to be able to say no. He didn't teach me that because that wasn't to his purposes, you know. So he convinced me that I was being naive or foolish, and he knew better. He knew better than the world. The world saw things as dirty that were not. That's the way he saw it. That was his view, and I can understand his view. And again, Kaya, it comes down to, yeah, but you weren't looking at me as a human being at that point. I was, I don't know if you know a person called Teal Swan, but she was talking about parents and their dolls. That's what I was. I was like a doll to him, for him to do what he wanted with, what he wanted, like, and to grow up like he wanted me to grow up. I wasn't. He did not respect me as a child, as my own person when I was a child, or as I grew up.
So so did this start when you were 5 and go till you
Started,
were 18?
yeah. That This is what I'm saying, and okay. So you put a warning on this. I don't want to get graphic about this, but what I do want to say is he didn't. It didn't feel like rape. It didn't feel like it could be called rape because, first of all, there was never intercourse. He tried a couple of times when I was older, and when I pushed back at that, he didn't want to go any further with pushing that. With, like, actually, it would have been a violent thing, and he didn't want to do that. It was more like oral sex, you know, like all those years, all those years. Yeah,
Still very inappropriate.
yeah, absolutely inappropriate. And yeah, I carried a lot of shame about some of the things that I'm saying right now. Well, I didn't stick up for myself, and why didn't I? And because I had been inculcated, because it was my normal. That's why. And I was afraid. I was afraid of him. He could be violent, like, with just as a human being. He beat my mother. So, and he hit us kids sometimes.
Did she know? Was she?
She she did know. So this is another part of the story that when they were 15, and there were times when she denied it, and I was like, "But mom, it was right in front of you." And then, um, but she was 15 when my dad married her.
Oh,
She was 19. He was 19. He was 19. He
right,
was in the Air Force. She was 15. She got pregnant. She wanted someone to take her away from the house she was living in at the time.
right.
My grandmother's a beautiful person, but there was just stuff going on with her relationship with her stepdad, and stuff that she just didn't want to be there. So she
Right.
wanted someone to take her away. So she got pregnant by my dad. I asked her if she had wanted me at some point. She said, "Oh, you. In fact, I got pregnant on purpose so that your dad would take me away." So, but